Good morning.
Good morning.
Good
You
morning.
scared me.
I scared you?
Yeah. I was like, whoa.
What's happening?
I wasn't ready for that. So
You're not 10 years, huh? Not ready? Still not ready?
No. I'm sorry.
You think by now you'd be ready for anything.
Right. Exactly. I should be, right?
Yeah. All right.
Good
morning.
morning.
Afternoon, evening, wherever you're watching us from on replay. Hashtag replay if you're on replay.
Yeah.
We are loving this week already. We've only had one day, and yesterday was so much fun.
It was fun.
So this week we're talking about laughter. And yesterday we just went off on like all the things that make us laugh. So it was a fantastic thing. But the reason why we're talking about laughter is because it's good for your health. And we wanted to talk about like how it physically affects you, how it mentally affects you. And when you're dealing with a major medical issue like heart disease or any other one, this could be really powerful. But I think we give it not enough credit of intentionally going and laughing and finding ways to laugh to actually aid in our recovery or our healing. Good morning, Annie.
Good morning, Annie.
What's up, lady? Happy that you're here. So the first thing, though, I need to go over is a little housekeeping. So if you're watching from our heart disease support group, it is a private group on Facebook. And because it's a private group, we can't see your comments unless you click the StreamYard link in the group. So make sure in the description, you click that StreamYard link. That'll take you, well, it won't take you anywhere. It'll just connect you with our broadcast. Basically, it just connects your name to our broadcast so we can see you when you comment. So please make sure to click on that link so we can see you. The other link that you need to be aware of is any given week when we're doing our devotionals, we'll always include the link to our devotional on the YouVersion Bible app. So make sure you're clicking that if you want to follow along. It'll take you to either download the app, the YouVersion Bible app, or to the desktop website, depending on how you're accessing it. And that way you can follow us on this devotional. Any given week, it's the specific one that we're on. So you don't have to search for it. It'll take you directly to the one that we're doing.
Yeah. And if you are new to our broadcast, my name is Javie. This is my wife,
Jessica.
And we are with Underdog Ninja. Here at Underdog Ninja, we focus on three things. That is our faith, character, and action. Every Tuesday through Saturday, we are here giving these devotionals, doing these devotionals with you, sharing God's word, sharing what we believe is relevant to this fight against heart disease. We all struggle with all these different things that life throws at us on top of having this disease. And in order to start that recovery process, we start with our faith. We believe that is the foundation, the key to begin to recover and to put aside all the junk, all the unnecessary things, so you can focus on living your life with heart disease.
Exactly. And we have a few more people here this morning. This is, your sister, Monica. Good morning, Monica.
Hey, Thomas said he clicked the link. That's awesome.
I know, exactly.
Yay.
Okay. I'm going to bring that up. Gosh dang it. I got to the wrong screen. Click the link. Thank you, Thomas. I can see you and your face. All right. So are you ready?
You can't literally see his face.
No, I cannot literally see your face, Thomas.
That would be
There have been breakthroughs in technology in the last 24 hours. I can see your face.
All right.
If I could see your face right now, I would have already invented a replicator. Because that's the most important invention. I'm waiting for the replicator, people. For those of you who don't know what a replicator is,
watch Star Trek.
Watch Star Trek. Exactly. And if you do, you know how desperately I want one. All right, let's go. Let's jump into it.
It would be amazing if the replicator had all the junk food that you want, but all the nutritional
value
and all the bad stuff.
I've never heard them do that on Star Trek.
Have you seen? Well,
no, but I mean, imagine if you're like, okay, make me a New York cheesecake, but on the inside it has kale, but tastes like New York cheesecake.
Exactly. Why not?
It's a kale cake. Yeah.
If we could have a replicator, we could do that.
I'm telling you. Well, I don't know about taste, but we could do it.
But I was going to say, have you seen a real heavy person on Star Trek? But then I thought, okay, wait, There's Scotty. He like camped out in front of the replicator.
Yeah, it's true.
Right?
It's true. Well, they were working in battle all the time. So, I mean, and they had their holodecks so they could exercise a lot.
Yeah, but
if I had a holodeck, that would be a different.
But that's like next generation stuff. That's not.
And he says, no, I vote for replicator of you two to help with some often replicator of us. Be like Attack of the Clones. All right. So are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. You sure?
Let's get started. Let's go. Like the thing said,
Like this has started.
All
right. So, it's not sharing. I don't know why. I already shared it, but I refreshed it. Okay, there it is. All right, let's go. What is funny? What's so funny? Do I amuse you like some sort of a clown? All right, let's go.
You used that line yesterday.
I know, but it's so good. Like I have to, any opportunity I have to do the Italian, like, hey, do I amuse you? God designed us to enjoy the benefits of laughter. He knew we'd need laughter to pull us through when frustrations and difficult people and shopping carts with wheels that don't turn or spin in opposing directions get us down. All of us just cringed.
Yeah.
It's not easy to drop everything and run to the movies to watch a comedy, and comedies aren't always as funny as their trailers make them out to be. Amen. Remember when comedy was just plain funny? It didn't make you squirm in your seat, and it wasn't mean-spirited. Even when it was a roast, the humor was good-natured and fun. The guest of honor was treated with respect, and a heartfelt tribute usually wrapped up the evening. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 17:22 that a merry heart doeth good like a medicine, and that's true. A good comedy show can make you forget a dreadful day, just like a couple of aspirin can get you through the night until your doctor's office opens in the morning. Humor is healthy. Comedy doesn't have a political preference. In the good old days, even political satirists kept it respectful and relatively equal between the different politicians and political parties. Politics were not at the center of the humor of comedians like Bob Hope, Johnny Carson, and all the way back to Mark Twain. Their goal was simply to make the audience laugh. The comics were equal opportunity jokesters. The first joke would hit the Democrats, and the next would hit the Republicans, and the last would hit Congress. Marriage humor was covered by the likes of Lucille Ball, Jackie Gleason, George Burns, and so many talented others. No matter what they said, you knew love, tolerance, and respect was at the core of their humor. For family life comedy, we had Dick Van Dyke, Mary Tyler Moore, and the Brady Bunch. Or we could just leave it to Beaver. Even the offbeat characters of the Addams Family and the Munsters gave audiences plenty to laugh about. For the foibles of life, there was Bob Newhart, Rodney Dangerfield, and a host of others who could make us guffaw at the drop of a punchline. For pure zaniness, there was Jerry Lewis, Phyllis Diller, and Robin Williams. Oh, Robin Williams. Oh, one of my favorites of all time. Domestic complaints, go to Joan Rivers, Senior Life, The Golden Girls, Small Town, Andy Griffith, and Don Knotts. There are far too many comedians and comic actors of yesteryear to list here, but they all had one thing in common. Their comedy was the kind that made you feel good. You dwelled on your own problems a little bit less. You laughed along with people of opposing political beliefs and different life experiences, and it didn't matter, not one iota. Barriers were dropped, not erected. Hearts were opened a little, not slammed shut, and there was a lot more laughter and a lot less offense. Who among us couldn't use a healthy dose of that merry heart-making, God-prescribed medicine right now? Yeah, right? Exactly. Some of today's comics understand the gift those legendary comedians gave us, and they try to replicate that family-friendly, non-offensive brand of humor. They know that life is tough for everybody, and laughter is a biblical prescription for much of what ails us. Most importantly, they realize that humor's most noble and greatest mission is simply this: to make us all laugh, and preferably together. Psalms 51:8 says, "Oh, give me back my joy again. You have broken me. Now let me rejoice." Psalms 86:4 says, "Give me happiness, O Lord, for I give myself to you." So I love the references in this because we talk about this a lot because I love comedy so much, but it has really dropped the ball in the last decade or more, a couple decades, maybe. Because comedy has already, now it's been infiltrated by all the other problems. Instead of it being our release, now it's just a part of Distress. So that's hard. That's why yesterday I was like, what's your go-to thing? Because it's different for everybody. Because I love stand-up comedy. I love, all kinds of, I used to love SNL when it was back in the day when it was just comedy.
Well, the thing is, I think comedians have had some of, especially like veterans, have had some issues these last few years where their routines and how they approach comedy isn't even allowed because it's deemed.
But something's offensive to someone.
Yeah.
Instead of everybody gets offended equally, and we're supposed to laugh at ourselves.
Right.
And so the reason why we bring that, I bring that up is because I don't get political. I don't do it. I'm not going to do it. And that's actually not why I'm saying this.
But the whole thing was, it was like comedy was like sacred ground. A comedian, I've seen comedians like Robin Williams. I mean, him just torch either side.
Yeah.
Right. And he had his own political beliefs.
Sure.
But it didn't mean
but you wouldn't know.
He would take advantage of an opportunity to fry someone in a way
that's loving and funny and kind. Yeah.
But of his own
side.
Right.
Yeah. And the reason why, what I was trying to say is the reason why I bring that up, why it's important isn't to dwell on the politics of the day or whatever. It's because that's a great example of how we all need to lighten up a little bit and look at how humanity is funny, how life is crazy, how you can't make this stuff up. Right. Like, let's all chill a little bit and understand that there are so many ways that we could laugh at things, that we could understand that humans are funny. I mean, we're so intense all the time. And so taking this thing as big as laughing at our own political side, but laughing at ourselves, how ridiculous we can be, lightening up about our own, how we identify, how we like this or that, what we call ourselves, how we label ourselves, what our identity is. And keep in mind, we've talked a lot about, this is my identity that I've created. Well, God is the one that actually is who your identity is. And he's the one that determines and dictates your identity. Mm-hmm. And that's a child of God. That's what your identity is. But we always put our labels on ourselves and everything, but our labels can't supersede our health. And that's really what I'm getting at is our label, our thing that we stand on, our religion. People say you guys are religious. And we've talked about how we don't love that word religion. But I'm talking about actual religion, like your thing that you stand on, like I am this religion and this is what I practice and this is my label. And so I stand behind that, and I stand behind my political party, and I stand behind my culture, or I stand behind my family's name. I don't know, whatever, my profession, the social group that I stand behind. Okay. Whatever it is, that can't come before your health. Okay. The stress of that, the identifying with that, the stance that you're taking in that, we need to stop and we need to laugh at that stuff and realize this is all just stuff we do while we're here on earth. It's not going to go away and be minimalized because we laugh at it. We need to chill and say, what are we taking with us when we leave? What is it that we're doing? Even if we're doing very serious things, then especially if you're doing very serious things, you need to back off and laugh at it and take a moment and just realize how absurd we can all be, how intense we can all be, how we can all cross the line sometimes, how we can go overboard. And that political nature that she's talking about in this devotional, where it's like, remember when comedy was funny and we could all laugh at ourselves and laugh together and put our stuff down for a minute and just be humans, because we all experience the same things, and come together as a community and just be like, that's what I'm talking about.
Hey, so my cousin Rita's here.
Yeah. Hi, Rita.
That's awesome.
What's up?
No, the thing is what's really a shame anymore, because there's so many things. The tension is so
palpable.
Yeah. In society these days, nothing is getting done. Imagine if we took a moment to step back and could laugh at ourselves and to just enjoy these certain moments, whether we disagree with someone or not. Just take a moment and enjoy the humorous, the humorous things of life, and just enjoy life. How much we could get done. Look, culturally, we all come from all these different cultures, and there are some funny things about each of our cultures. And because of that culture, we do things. and we say things, and they are funny to another culture, or they are funny to our same culture. But it's really, I could joke around with people in my family about certain things that we do in the culture, or what someone has done, like my nana has done, what she would do, and it was funny, right?
Oh, like throwing the chocolates?
Yeah, right. That's funny, but we take offense if someone outside of our culture says the same thing.
While they think it's funny.
Right, it's funny, and they say somehow they're not allowed, because now that is turned to be offensive. Yes, they could say things that are in an offensive way, but we cannot, again, just like last week, too many of us approach life like this, or in a defensive way, rather than an open hand.
Yep.
And I understand, after a while, life beats you hard.
Yeah. And so you're just like this all the time.
And so you're always on defense. But at some point, if you want to get anything done in your life, you have to be willing to put down your defenses a little bit.
Yeah.
And try to accept people at face value. And I'm not trying to be naive. I know that there are evil people, there are some ignorant people in this world, and they hurt us. But what did we hear a while back ago about not allowing our previous scars, our baggage, to dictate today's action,
right?
To dictate how I approach life? Because someone said or done something to me in the past, shouldn't dictate necessarily how I approach my future or the decisions I make. Right.
So I love what you said about cultures, because so much stuff is so hot right now and has been for, I don't even know why I said right now. It's like, everyone's like, oh, there's a lot of racism right now. And I'm like, you realize racism's been around since the beginning of time,
right? Not
just like in America, not just worldwide, in biblical history. Actually, there was racism in the Bible. People were racist,
right?
Culturist, whatever you want to call it.
Much more than it is now.
I mean, right. Hello.
Right.
Like Jewish people. Come on. People were culturalists against, Jesus came from Nazareth, and they were like, nothing good comes out of Nazareth, blah, blah. I think God did that on purpose.
How is that not racist?
Okay. So this has been around since the beginning of time, guys. So what we all get offended by, sorry, my nose it is. Offended by one of those jokes or whatever, right? We have our cultural jokes.
Yes.
Right. And we all should, here's the thing. The reason why we all should laugh is because all of the cultural jokes are really the same. Whatever you happen to grow up in, there's funny stuff that your culture does. The reason why they're funny is because they're true most of the time. Okay. And it's supposed to be in love.
Good humor always has truth interlaced with it.
Right. Well, and so my point on what I'm trying to say is because I don't want this to get lost in the racism thing, is the devotional is very clear on what is funny. Today is talking about what is funny. Well, whatever's funny, it has to have good intentions behind it. So if somebody's making a joke about your culture and it's obviously with ill intent, that's not funny. That's offensive. The words aren't as offensive as the intent. I could come up and say something to somebody of a different culture and be cracking up and in love with it and say, it's so funny. I just love you guys. That's hilarious. You guys do that. And I really mean, it's so funny. And my culture does this and it's super funny. And I'm totally and of course, not a stranger, because people don't know me. They wouldn't know my intent because they don't know me. Right. But I'm assuming I know this person and they understand my intention. It's funny. That's why people in the same culture can joke so much about their same culture, because not only are they in the same culture, but they know that their intention is love and kindness and lightheartedness. And we're trying to be funny and we're just trying to lighten the mood and lighten up, right? But when we go outside our culture, people just assume, because of the people who've ruined it, the ill intent, that everybody has that intention. And that's what you're talking about. I know that there's people out there, whatever, that ruin this. But the reason why this is so good, because this kind of humor brings community together. Let's all laugh at ourselves together. Right. Let's all like lighten up together and think these things are funny.
Well, I don't think we take time enough to get to know a person, to know the frame of mind where they come from. Right.
Yeah.
And because we are approaching every relationship, every situation with our hands up in a defensive posture, we're almost, the culture of today seems to be ready for a fight, to be ready to defend themselves rather than trying to get to know one another.
Yeah, exactly.
So every person, they listed here all these different comedians, all the different styles of comedians, and all the purposes of sectors of life of that day, of where their target market was, their target audience was, their approach to comedy. You take that in its day, and it was funny. You understood that.
Yeah.
And each of those comedians, if you took each of those comedians today and you look at some of their past shows or some of their past stand-up, people would take offense.
They would rip them apart.
I can't believe they got away with saying those things. But it's because of the day we knew their heart. It was a different time.
But I love what they say. I can't believe they got away with, like, when you get away with something, they're saying that their intent was a malintent. Like, they're saying that they got away with that, meaning they tricked us into thinking that it was funny, but people didn't care because it was like we were all ignorant in that day, so we just didn't light people up for saying stuff like that. Right. Like, they were meaning to be ignorant and they were meaning to be offensive.
Does it mean that there was
that's not what it was?
Does it mean that there wasn't racism or racist amongst them? Sure. There was. But the thing is that we were still able to get things done. We were able to still function as a society. And despite
no, maybe there was more,
and enjoy the comedy, enjoy the laughter, and not a lot, because look, if laughter heals, if humor heals, that was the goal, right?
Right.
Is to laugh.
Yes. I'm not saying that there weren't like racist comedy, comedians, and there were people, like I just said, there's people with ill intent in anything we're talking about.
In anything.
In it, there's going to be people that ruin it for everybody.
Right.
In fact, that's probably the main reason why people don't say stuff like that anymore, because there's so many people that didn't say it right or didn't say it with the right intent, and it ruined it for everyone. And now we can't have that kind of comedy because people are like, well, it's offensive.
Right.
But things are only offensive depending on how you take them. And also the intent, right? It has to be two-sided. So things started to be taken wrong. Things started to be said wrong. Right. And now here we are.
So we have two little comedians that you are nurturing in our house. Right?
Yeah.
Right. So,
oh my gosh.
So they are always practicing their humor, and we allow them to practice their humor. But the other day, one of our daughters, she was flexing. She was.
Yeah.
And I understood where she was coming from, but that went over the line.
Yeah.
A little
so the kids
of
like
disrespect,
trying to figure out their boundaries, right?
Right. So we had to call her back. It was funny.
I know what she said was funny, but she followed it up with like a totally disrespectful thing. And then I was like, oh, I can't let that go.
So we had to bring that back and just kind of set her straight a little bit. That was good, but
it was funny.
Right. But this is the boundary.
Yeah.
I think in trying to do that with society and trying to help heal society, I think a lot of times we have now gone the other way, where no longer can we be funny.
Yeah.
Or we're afraid to be funny.
Well, what it is they're changing,
to say something.
They're changing people's words. So it wasn't what she said, it's how she said it to us.
Yeah.
It was her intention.
Yeah.
So what she said was funny, but it would have been left as funny if she would have kept her intention in check, right? But she's 10 almost, so she doesn't understand that yet, which is why we had to coach her. No, you don't say that.
Right.
But adults, right? The coaching of adults in humor with people being offended these days doesn't happen with intent. It happens with words. They just go, don't say any of that. Never say that. It's not about love and kindness and the idea that we could be inclusive in comedy, meaning let's all come together and lighten up and put our stuff down.
Right.
In fact, if we could do the opposite and just put all our stuff down for a minute, that's why it used to be funny. That's why the people are like, oh, well, it used to not be offensive because we were all racist then or something. And it's like, well, we're all ignorant or we weren't so enlightened then. No, I think it's because we all were better at putting our crap down for a minute and being like, we're all ridiculous, because we are. We're all ridiculous humans. And laughing at that and saying how funny it is. Seinfeld was the genius of all geniuses at this. He's like, he still is. Like, obviously, he's still around. But, you know, he's just a genius at, why aren't we all just laughing at ourselves, at each other? Why is it not all funny? Because it is. Like, it's so ridiculous as humans, how we act and how, you know.
The more you find yourself funny, or the things in life funny, and if you go with intent to find humor in anything, I think that's really going to feed you. What am I looking for? It's going to feed and heal any pain, any disease that you're currently going through. It's going to help you get through it. It's going to feed your body. It's going to release those hormones on a constant basis. If you are always trying to, you are that type of person. I know, and other people that are just quick-witted, always finding the good in anything, finding the humor in everything. They are the best people to be around, rather than the people that take the life so seriously. Think about that. You know those people. You know the difference, what I'm talking about. The people that are so serious about everything. They can't even
lighten up long enough to take a joke.
How happy are they? Yeah. How happy do they seem?
And how happy do they make other people around them?
And you know, a lot of times they find themselves miserable. They're sick. They aren't. Yeah, they're sick, and they're not successful in a full life, a happy full life. And what we're trying to express here today, and our mission here, is living a full life, living a life with this disease. How do you take some horrible circumstances that have happened to you, and how do you turn that around? And we're trying to give you tools today, and that's why we focus this week on laughter, because we believe laughter is vital, and it is healing.
Well, something I wanted to bring up is proof that the words are less important than the intention is a roast. This brought up a good roast.
Oh man.
If the words were important, then you couldn't do a roast.
Yeah.
You couldn't. And roasts are like people's favorite things. Why? Because they're like, this person's dead serious about doing everything that they do, but yet we're going to pick on them. And because they know it's a roast, the intention is previously set forth. Don't take us seriously. We love you. We're only saying this out of love.
Yes.
And actually so much love that we're willing to bring this up and kind of make fun in order to show you how much we love you.
Yes.
And people love this. So you can't say that words are the only things that offend people. Right. You can't go out and act like, well, words offend people. It's more like intention. It is, because look at people say to their own friends.
Yeah. So perfect example is Don Rickles. If you ever saw old Don Rickles roast with like Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis, all the
they
Rat
were
Pack.
Ruthless.
Okay, Don Rickles, he loved his friends. He was close to his friends. Yet he would in a roast, it was the best stuff, because he would just take all their personal stuff and lay it all out in front of everyone, and everyone would like it, including the people that they were roasting,
because they knew the intention.
Right.
They knew the intention.
They are exactly right.
And so
that's a perfect example.
Words can hurt, but it's more about the intention that comes behind the word.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, why do women, call each other the B word? And why do they but that's like their love word. They're like, what's up? Like bleepity bleep. And like you're literally calling me the same word that someone could hate me and call me and I'd punch them out. But you calling it to me like, oh, I just know you love me. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? I have a really old friend who we've known each other for years. And every time we have our birthdays, we make fun of each other how old we are. And I'll be like, what's up, oldie McSack of old? how's your jowls doing or whatever. And we're just like, it's so funny. Like, I wouldn't want a stranger walking up to me to say that to me and like with ill intent and like calling me names and stuff. But we say that it's the intention. The words don't hold power one way or the other unless the intention shifts. Right?
Mm-hmm. What's the recipe?
What's the recipe to the roast? And he says, nothing good comes out of Narnia. Just kidding. So I was going to say, when we're talking about laughter and heart disease. So what I wanted to end with today is how many hilarious, and I want you to really think about this, how hilarious some of the situations that happen when you're in these crazy critical moments. When you look back, now it's not funny as much in the moment, obviously, or at all. But looking back, what's the most absurd stuff that's happened to you with heart disease or any other medical issue? In fact, going to the hospital, ambulance, you're going in the ambulance, having the paramedics come to your house, like just going to the ER, like procedures that you've had to have done. I mean, I'm about to, anyway, I'm going to single you out a little bit because unfortunately you're the subject of some of these stories. But sorry, but they're so funny and they're so absurd. I mean, there's situations that happen in medical circumstances that don't happen any other time. And suddenly they're completely fine. But in any other setting, like they would never be okay. And it would be so absurd, but yet it's like you leave and go, how did that just happen to me? That's so weird. It's so funny. So I want to hear your guys' comment below and let me know what's the most absurd thing that's happened to you that is so funny. Like I know I've seen in some of these communities around heart disease. I know that you guys have these stories that are just absurd. Like, and the funny things, or what about a doctor or a nurse or a practitioner? Like how many times in like the cath lab have you joked around with these people? There's these funny stories where they like just want to joke with you in the moment. And so we've had the funniest conversations with medical staff during these really high stress moments because they're actually, think about it. What are they doing? They're trying to lighten the load of the moment. They're not making fun of you.
Right.
They're not patronizing you. They're not minimalizing what you're going through.
They purposely staff those cath labs with people that have a sense of humor, that they can laugh at really in any situation, or they find funny things in any situation.
Right.
They purposely put people like that in there in some way to kind of lighten the mood. This is what they're supposed to do. And but being in the cath lab sometimes are just the funniest things. You've
been in the cath lab a lot of times.
Yeah.
So you have stories
right in the middle of a heart attack, and they're joking around with you, and it's funny. So
what's the funniest thing that's ever happened to you in a medical situation?
Oh gosh.
Can you pick out one, or maybe it's not the funniest, but a good one? What's a funny situation where you're just like, no, or maybe an extreme situation where that was just an absurd like experience. I can't believe that just happened, but it was completely normal in the moment. Cause I know of one for that story. Cause it's just always like crazy to me that happened. But what about like a funny thing, or what's something you can tell?
Well, I don't know if it's kind of, it was awkward, but I thought it was kind of funny. Everybody else kind of thought it was funny. So, I work, I've worked in healthcare my whole career, for 25 years or so. So I have these different hospitals that are my account. So I know these people. I've worked in and out of cath labs, and I got to know these people. So these people I would go out and I would fix their equipment and stuff like that. So they're familiar with me.
Which always posed a funny thing.
During my heart attack, I get rushed to the hospital, and I roll in there, and they go, "Oh, it's you," and they know who I am, and so you're naked. You're just,
which is another thing,
which is very awkward.
Like hold on. In what other situation can you just be laying in front of a room of people naked and nobody cares?
Right.
Like it's completely you're just like, what's up, everybody? Like you're just like, nobody cares. That's happened so many times to you.
It's really awkward, right? And especially the next time you go see them. But anyway, you're laying there butt naked, and everything. And they're cracking jokes. What's funny is they wanted to put me right to work. They're like, hey, by the way, this happened. Do you think you could take care of that for me? And I'm like, hey, just bring it on over. And they're like, so they give me this screw. He goes, you know where this might go? And
they're trying to like make him laugh that he could fix the equipment while he's there.
Here I'm having a heart attack and stuff. And I'm like, give me my tools and I'll take care of it. And of course we know we're all joking around, but yeah, there's a lot of different things that have happened to me in the moment. Yeah. But I think that is the most uncomfortable, but you just have to laugh it off.
Yeah, because
I think the next time you show up after I get better, it's always awkward.
You've had some interesting situations with nursing staff where it's like you're just like they just have to do stuff they have to do, and I know all of you have too. Like no one ever talks about it, but like look, this is stuff that we have to laugh at, and we do laugh at, but we don't talk about it because it's like this somehow taboo. But nurses, they have a whole community of like when they're in a club. Nurses have stories. I have a bunch of nurse friends, so I hear all their stories too. And there is the most absurd stuff that happens. Like they have to do stuff that's so ridiculous. And to a person who isn't a nurse, they're like, what's happening right now? Like, but the nurse is just doing their job. They're just like, it's just a body, it's medical. Like, I got to do this, I got to do that. So you've had some funny experiences where a nurse was just doing her thing and you're like, whoa. like, I'm here. Did you know I'm up here? I'm up here. Eyes up here. No, not like that. But I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm a person, they're just doing their thing. And you're just like, what's happening? Because when you've had, for instance,
been violated.
Yeah, yes, because you, not anything inappropriate, guys, but you've had cath procedures on both, they go in through your groin and then also you've had the wrist, which is amazing. But your groin ones, it's everybody's business.
Yeah.
Your business is everyone's business.
Yeah. You have to get over it.
Yeah. And like, it's so crazy to me, the stories that people have, and not just you, that people have. I've heard the funniest stuff, like in the heart disease community about the stuff that people go through. And it's just like, you become a kind of a club where you're like, yep, that's a normal thing. That's a thing that happens. And the people that are new are like, does this happen to everybody? Is this weird? Did I just go through some? And everyone's like, oh yeah. No, that's normal.
Oh, okay. So it's really funny about one of the people we know, one of our students, she shared with everybody. So I guess I could.
You don't have to say the name.
I could say it, but yeah. So we obviously teach plant-based eating, and so this plant-based eating. Gives you gas. It's very gassy.
At least at first, yeah.
And so your body's adjusting and everything. And so she goes to her chiropractor, and her chiropractor goes to adjust her, and she just
rips him a new one, like
blows one out, right?
Yeah.
And she's completely embarrassed. So she's wondering whether she should even go back. So the other day, she mustered enough courage to go back.
She went back
and get past it, but she had to
laugh at herself,
laugh at the situation, and not let that get
How
in the way.
many times have you farted at a chiropractor or a massage therapist? Like people do this. I used to be a massage therapist, and I know. And it's like you wouldn't believe how many times nurses, chiropractors, massage therapists, whatever, like anybody who's dealing with the body, how much stuff like that happens. You think you're the only one. But the person's like, I'm over it. Like the practitioners just, there's all kinds of weird body crap that happened when I was doing massage therapy that like people's bodies just do. And they just do because you're doing body work. And it's so fun. You do become kind of a club. So all this massage therapists would crack up at like all this stuff that happens, and we would laugh, but everybody thinks they're the only one. So they're mortified. You can see their faces. They leave. They're like, thank you. Bye. I'm out of here. And you never see them again. Right. Yeah. And then meanwhile, you don't want to embarrass them further. So you don't mention it. You're not like, it's okay. You can come back. It's fine. They're like, no, anyway, it's okay. So you just kind of like, bye. And then they're like, bye. And just like, these are the things. So heart disease is hilarious on one hand. There's just because it's like one of the most like major medical. I mean, like you have to shave like everything now. Like you go in and because you have had those stickers constantly.
They're extremely painful.
And they're so hard to, like the ER ones, the emergency room ones where they don't care. They're just like,
rip it off.
Right. Yeah. And you're taking off your soul with it. Oh, it's the worst. So anyway, he'll go in and they're like, well, you've already prepped everything. Like and he's like, I stay prepped because I end up
I never know because if you've ever had those people dry shave you, oh my gosh, might as well be adult razors. Forget that.
Exactly.
And so I'm
doing surgery prep.
I got to be prepared all the time.
All the time. Yeah. And so some of the things that we do
right.
when we're fighting heart disease, we should talk about that kind of stuff more. It's like, do you constantly shave your body so that you're prepared at all times for a medical emergency? Because we do.
Yeah. It's kind of a weird thing, but
it is. But you know what? This is stuff that people need to know is totally normal. It's for what you're going through. Yeah,
because look, the truth is that you never know when something happens, and it's happened like that.
Yeah, where you didn't, and then you're like, dang it! Now I have these stickers on my hair again. You should just be happy.
Especially if you're this hairy beast, those guys that have hair all the way up to
here. Yeah,
you're talking about Robin Williams, man.
My gosh,
he was a monkey.
So you should be happy they don't put those stickers on your back where you can't shave.
Thanks for calling me out, babe.
No, you don't have a hairy back. You know what I mean? Like where you can't get to it. So it's just too bad.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
So this week has been so good. I just love the opportunity to just talk about laughter and like lightening up. I think we need to just chill out about some of the stuff we get uptight about. I think we need to chill out about how absurd we are. I think that's the message
of today.
Yeah.
Chill out.
And you know what? And to me, really what I got was intention. I think, words should be taken with the intent. When you're watching comedy, when you're talking to your friends, when you're joking around, remember intention. What's the intent behind your words? Make sure it's clear. Make sure you're asking somebody what their intention is. Make sure that you're assuming people's intentions are good until proven otherwise, then you're not so offended all the time. And things can be like, you can lighten the mood. Like people say wrong stuff all the time. I do. I mean, we say stuff that we're like, I don't know why I said that, or I didn't mean that, or whatever. And, so just remember, lighten up, chill, and just look for the humor in things. And the absurdity is so funny. And
I think you'll enjoy life more
mm-hmm.
if you can find the humor in everything you do.
And see.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think you would really see a change. If your life has been really stressful lately.
Yep.
Go with intent to find the humor. Find something that will make you happy, to put joy back in your life. Yesterday we were talking about, if joy is working out in the yard and gardening, if that's what relaxes you, do that. If listening to music puts you in a good mood,
mm-hmm.
do that. If listening to comedy, helps feed your soul, then do those things. Do the things that make you happy. And they could be simple. They don't have to be expensive. They don't have to be hard. Mm-hmm. Find the little things. Work on that today. The little things that make you happy today. Especially if you've had tremendous amount of stress lately.
Yep.
Because look, stress kills.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
One of the things one of our clients did, one of the shifts that I was offering her to, or to coaching her to make, and it really made a huge difference, was listening to, like, while you're working. And I do this, listening to something while you're working that lightens your mood, or like listen to stand-up comedy while you're working, listen to music you love while you're working, whatever soothes you or gives you joy or helps you kind of lighten up, whatever makes you like be in a good mood or takes the stress away. I do that all the time, like listening to something while you're working or while you're driving. And we used to listen to stand-up comedy while we were driving all the time, like on road trips.
That was great.
Oh, it was great.
All right.
Well, this has been amazing today, and I cannot wait for the rest of this week.
All right, guys, you have a wonderful day. If you guys got something out of today, please hit like and share this with someone that, if you have someone in your life that just
needs to lighten up,
right? Share this with them this week.
Yeah, exactly. Let's help each other get rid of our stresses. Exactly. Let's do that. Let's come together and crack each other up more. Yep. I think that's what we should do.
All right. Have the best day, guys.
And if you're watching on our YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already. hit like, comment below. We'd love to get into a conversation with you and engage there. And if you want to be notified for any of our future broadcasts or content we post, make sure you hit that bell.